Three reasons to watch HRTV coverage of Saratoga.
Well, I know we're showing all the races live. I can tell you that.
And it is Let Me Go! Devil May Care a tap or two. She's on her way to a 2.5 length lead. Maybe so, maybe not. Indeed, he did. Wins the Sanford by a length.
I think you'll ask any trainer. They always feel like a little pressured because everybody likes to win at Saratoga.
Rosemary Holmeister Jr. kicking away.
Getting the right horses and getting lucky in each and every one of the races.
And it is Rachel Alexandra in an encore at the Jersey Shore.
And I'm a big fan of HRTV. I watch this all the time.
Hi everybody, Peter Lurie here to take you through the week on HRTV. Linda Rice was the first female to win a Saratoga training title. Can she do it again in 2010?
It took 140 years for a woman to win a training title at Saratoga, so it's pretty unlikely to occur again in the near future. But we're going to do the best we can with what we have, and hopefully we'll win enough races to call it a good year. 50 stabled here at Saratoga, and I've got a few 2-year-olds that are coming to the races soon. And, I think we'll get a few of them over there to the winner's circle.
When you came here last year, did you feel like you were loaded for bear?
I don't think you ever go to Saratoga thinking you'll win a training title. But I didn't. I thought we would have a good meet, but it was better than I expected.
Do you feel any pressure now that you did something that nobody had done before?
Listen, we're just going to, do as well as we can and try to enjoy ourselves. And hopefully I won't embarrass myself this year.
The Grade 3 Schuylerville highlighted Saratoga's opening day. Here's what some of the connections had to say leading up to the race.
My wife, who I've been married to 10 great years, his name is Maria. She has a little bit of a spending habit that we always don't see eye to eye on. But, so I'd like to, some of my names I like to poke fun at my friends and family. So she wasn't super enthusiastic about the name, but when the horse won the first time by 7.5 lengths about a month ago, she was pretty excited. And her second question was, what was the purse for that race? And I told her it was $50,000, and she tried to justify that was her money and she should be able to spend it.
Let's Get Fiscal is actually it's one of the better names that we have out there. If my own name's everything on financial Wall Street terms, everything, and this one is right on the money. Anyway, she's always been professional. We've never had to show her anything twice. She takes dirt in her face. Is very laid back. I mean, galloping, she looks like a little pony, and you put another filly next to her, and the game face comes on, and she's all business.
Well, anytime that you get, 2-year-olds that win early, it's just you really don't. You're sort of forced into running into stakes. Otherwise, you just got to sit and train and wait for an allowance race. So I really don't know how good this filly is. She's an early foal, January foal, and especially this time of year, anything can happen in stakes races, and anything today can happen because it's a sloppy track.
And they head for home together. They've been at each other through a half mile in 45 and 4/5 seconds. On the far outside, Let Me Go comes on late, and Show Me the Bling. Stop Spending Maria has turned back. Let's Get Fiscal. Here comes Let Me Go, and a very green Show Me the Bling coming down to the wire, and it is Let Me Go.
Kieran McLaughlin lacked confidence in his Saratoga starter, but Bank Merger ran better than his 11-to-1 odds.
Kieran, in the third race at Saratoga on opening day, I, for one, need allowance money, so I'm going to ask you. Bank Merger, 2-horse, very impressive in the debut, first time versus winners. That 8-to-1, what do you think?
I think we're in tough. I think that Saratoga and Todd Fletcher and Eddie Keneally both have very nice horses, and we're in tough. But he's training very well, and we thought we'd give him a chance and hope for the best.
And Bank Merger taking the lead at the 16th pole. Bank Merger in front, Foot Kendall second, Bimini and Matt Smarty, and Bank Merger overcame a slow start and won it by a length at the end.
Devil May Care was the standout filly in this week's Coaching Club American Oaks. Her owner and trainer shared their thoughts prior to the race.
What are your expectations with Devil May Care? I mean, if the track was off, how would you feel about that?
I don't think that would bother her. I thought she worked really, really well at Churchill in the slop before the Derby. She broke her maiden in the slop here on Travers Day last year. I would maybe be concerned if it got to be a real drying out, muddy, deep, gooey kind of track, but anything else I think she'd handle well.
She's a filly that probably slipped through the cracks just a little bit in Book 3. She was a big, strong, good-looking filly. And I bought some horses that year to run through some 2-year-old sales, and she's one that I sent to the 2-year-old sales, but I came away with.
I guess Destiny said she was meant to be yours.
Tight pack turning for home. They are led by Devil May Care at the top of the stretch. Johnny Velasquez steals a peek back to see that Biofuel is right next to him now. Down to the final furlong. Now he says go with the filly. Devil May Care a tap or two. She's on her way to a 2.5 length lead. Leaving Biofuel and the rest behind. Devil May Care. Devil May Care runs through the stretch in the final quarter mile to win by 4 here.
NYRA execs weighed in their thoughts on opening weekend at the Spa.
I think the rentals are down a little bit. The impression is that some people were scared away by all the financial issues that were going on and whether this meeting would happen or not. But I think today's response at the gate looks very good for a rainy day, and we're still hopeful we'll get 80,000 people the first 4 days, which should be a nice jump start.
What has the horseman's reaction been to the doing away with the security barn? What is the feedback that you've heard about that so far?
Very, very positive, and you have to throw a bouquet Rick Violet's way. Rick really did a lot of the hard work to get that overturned, and a lot of the spade work to pull out the statistics that were needed. We think it's got tremendous horseman support. We think it's a better mousetrap to really spend the money and the effort on things of real substance like blood doping agents. We're very pleased with it.
We have 3 stewards, one from NYRA, one from the New York State Racing and Wagering Board, one from the Jockey Club. All 3 organizations are on board with this. And basically what's going to happen is whenever there's an inquiry or an objection, if a horse comes down or if a horse doesn't come down, we're going to be putting some text up on our simulcast feed that has the language, the decisions that the stewards made, sort of their reasoning. And then we're also going to have a section on the NYRA website called the Stewards Corner where we will post those decisions as well. If a horse comes down, we can at least provide the fans with an explanation of what the foul was, why the horse came down. There's a lot of intricacies within the rules here in New York. There can be a foul, but if it didn't affect the order of finish, then it doesn't necessarily result in the horse being taken down. So just explaining stuff like that to the fans.
When I write the condition book, I try to have a good mix every day. We try to have 3 or 4 maiden races a day, 2 claiming races, 3 claiming races, and then obviously the allowances and stake races. So, I try to make my guidelines for Saratoga as 2-year-olds, turf racing, and stakes, and kind of fill in the blanks. That usually kind of gets me through on a daily basis.
Who are some of the new horsemen that are on the grounds, and did you have more requests for stalls than you were able to accommodate?
We have 1,800 stalls, probably had about 3,000 horses apply, and guys from everywhere. Obviously we have a great local contingent that comes up here for the meet. And then usually, we have a lot of Kentucky-based guys, and Dallas Stewart, Al Stahl, Dale Romans, Neil Howard's back this year, Wally Delassie. So we have a really great contingent of trainers that they bring their best horses here, and we put on a meet together.
Coming up on HRTV Rewind.
It's a very difficult meet. A lot of jockeys, a lot of good jockeys.
Maybe so, maybe not. Indeed.
Bullet drill real quick. It's opening weekend at Saratoga, opening day on Friday, so some spa treatment, bullet drill.
Okay.
Now, the first question in the bullet drill, name one service a spa offers.
Probably a massage.
Massage is okay. I'll accept that. Name 2 colors of polish for your nails.
Don't get my nails done. I don't know, red and black.
Black. That's a goth spa, but okay, we'll take it. And name 3 reasons to watch HRTV coverage of Saratoga.
Well, I know we're showing all the races live. I can tell you that. That's one reason. Yeah. How about 2 and 3? Same thing?
Same thing.
All right.
Live
all
racing
races
from
live.
Saratoga
no
opening
tape
day.
delays.
We caught up with Nick Zito for an update on his 3-year-olds at the Spa.
Well, we'd like to go with Fly Down. We'd like to start with him first, go to the Jim Dandy. And Icebox, runner-up in the Kentucky Derby, we'd like to run him in a Haskell. They're basically 1 day apart. And hopefully they both do well, and hopefully we'll have a shot for the other big race. Travers, so let's hope, everything's on schedule.
Tell me about the training track. You really love Oklahoma. What is it about Oklahoma that is so good for the horse?
Well, in my opinion, I think it's one of the safest tracks in America, in my opinion. And I think it's, well maintenance, well taken care of. And I think, it helps the horses build stamina. And more importantly, I just think it's good for their well-being. So I really like training up here.
2-year-olds went postward in the Sanford. Here's what their connections had to say prior to the race.
Bail Out the Cat, he won first time out and did it, laid second and then took over and won by 5. He's another one. He's been very professional, does only what he has to do in the morning. He needs company to get his attention as well. And he's been all business, so, we're hoping, he continues a decent run here with the 2-year-olds.
I think as the distances stretch out, we'll probably fit a little bit better. But day in and day out, I wouldn't trade places. I think Lou Brissy is a lovely colt, and I do think he has a big future. We just got to get through the early part of the 2-year-old season, where waiting for things to stretch out a little bit.
On the turn into the stretch, maybe so, maybe not, holding on to the lead. Another Silver Oak driving hard second. Nacho Saint on the scene late, down to the final 16th. Maybe so, maybe not. Another Silver Oak and Nacho Saint. Maybe so, maybe not. Indeed, he did.
Jockeys Julien Leperoux and Javier Castellano both got off to a good start in opening week at the Spa.
Well, I feel good. I mean, for this meet, if you can win a couple races, it's good. So win 2 right away, it feels good and it's nice. Hopefully we can keep on going, Now to keep going, it's going to be a tough thing, It's a very difficult meet. A lot of jockeys, a lot of good jockeys. And if I can win a couple more races, do like last year will be perfect.
Do you think that this meet, compared to all the other meets that you've ridden at, is this the toughest in the country, this colony right now?
Oh, it's for sure the toughest. That's for sure all year. It always is, I think. All the jockey came here, and it's just the toughest one.
Are there any particular horses that you're looking forward to riding? I know that you have quite a nice mounts, and who are you looking forward to riding in those races?
Well, I'm looking for the fillies, Forever Together and maybe Informed Decision. And plenty other one, but if we can find a good 2-year-old, that would be good, and we'll see what happens.
Yawkey Way scores by 5 on the wire. Coming down to the finish, it is Cody Samora ready to run today. Desert Key comes on through. Be bullish. Desert Key comes back to win it. Fiddler's Chaparito and Javier Castellanos just won 4 races in a row. Stand Proud come wide off the turn and now 6th and ducking in. Into the last furlong, Paulie's Porch has emerged with the lead. It is Paulie's Porch now in front. Look at this. Here comes Stand Proud. He was last, and Javier Castellanos trying to win 5 in a row, but he's got to get to Paulie's Porch. Here comes Stand Proud. Can he do it? Yes, he can! Javier Castellanos just won 5 in a row, and he did it with the horse that got left at the gate.
Up next on Rewind.
But Harbinger copes with the rising class to run them ragged.
Nick, I think I'd be washing out a little bit too if I was getting ready to meet the queen. What did you do? Did you shake her hand?
I had to stick my hand in my back pocket and kind of jam it in there. I was so nervous.
Roaring Home still has something left in the tank, and he's living up to his name. Seagaze is in second, and Roaring Home earns his claim to fame in the Iron Horse. He wins. It's Moralist from the Great Crosby, and Moralist is the Express champion. My Irish Girl is surging. My Irish Girl wears the glass slipper. Humble Smarty scoring the touchdown. Humble Smarty and Alex Berzer just to get there. They are the Rapid Transit champion.
HRTV jumped across the pond for the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Ascot.
Harbinger, Tong lolling out, is coming to the front in the King George and explodes away. Harbinger's gone 4 clear, over in the twinkling of an eye. Cape Blanco in pursuit with Yumzain and Daria Kana, but Harbinger copes with the rising class to run them ragged. Harbinger for the Highclere Thoroughbred Racing Club, Olivier Pellier, and a 5th King George for Sir Michael Stout.
The very talented Harbinger showed up, and there was some early concern with Workforce that the fact is he hangs left. This is according to his jockey, Ryan Moore, and it is a right-handed bend at Ascot versus the left-handed Tattenham Corner. So they were concerned going in that may be an issue, but I'm certainly not convinced they thought that would lead to a performance like today.
And this really does shake up the Arc de Triomphe. I know it's several months down the line, but really there is not a standout at this point, and maybe it's Harbinger. I mean,
it's
or
4
maybe
consecutive
Workforce
group wins for Harbinger,
get things
and
going.
he was no slouch going in. He's a 4-year-old gelding taking on the 3-year-olds here, and he dominated them. He had Olivier Pellier.
Not only did trainer Nick Gonzalez win the Queen's Plate Stakes, he also got to meet the Queen herself.
Well, I could tell you, it was such an overwhelming experience for my wife and I. It was almost undescribable, and it was really something that I'm going to treasure the rest of my life.
Nick, I think I'd be washing out a little bit too if I was getting ready to meet the Queen. What did you do? Did you shake her hand? Did you bow? Did you get down on a knee? I mean, what do you do in a situation like that?
Yeah, well, actually, my wife curtsied. They told me not to stick my hand out to shake hers until she put hers out first. So I had to stick my hand in my back pocket and kind of jam it in there. I was so nervous. As soon as she put that hand out, I grabbed that and shook it. And, oh, man. it was too much.
You said you were born ready when you came into this phone interview, so are you really that ready for today's race?
Well, I don't know about me in particular, but I know Big Red Mike was born ready, so he had his game face on this morning walking around that shed row. He's pretty proud of himself, so we just can't wait till 5 o'clock this afternoon.
As the field turns for home, and it's Golden Mocha! Golden Mocha coming back on! Mobile unit, Big Red Mike's all hard on the far outside! Hotep 2, Mob the Warrior, but it's Golden Mocha! The Panamanian invader! The undefeated Golden Mocha to go all of the way in the Prince of Wales Stakes!
Coming up on HRTV Rewind.
Well, maybe you guys have a future in Dancing with the Stars.
She should be on it, I tell you that. She wins. She gets the perfect 10s all the way across.
And it is Rachel Alexandra in an encore at the Jersey Shore.
Treasure Trip and Roar the Surge. Carol Madison Homemeister going to work. It's Roar the Surge and Rosemary Homemeister, the inside. Treasure Trip trying to battle on, but Roar the Surge surges away. Roar of the Surge and Rosemary Homemeister Jr. kicking away by 2.
Rosemary, it's got to feel great 2 times in a row.
It feels amazing. I mean, even coming back off a 5-day suspension and being able to top the standings again, and especially with Hammy Smith. We did it last year, too, together, so congratulations, Hammy.
Real solid jockey colony here this summer, so it wasn't easy.
No, definitely wasn't. I mean, we had a very tough riding colony. We actually had a lot of top trainers here. So it was really the battle of the agents and the jockeys getting the right horses and getting lucky in each and every one of the races.
I know you've got to go and mount next race, so congratulations once again. 2 times in a row, Rosemary Homemeister.
Earlier that day, Rosemary was on the phone with a recount of one of her most memorable wins this meet.
Well, one of those was Vanquisher in the Kitten's Joy Stakes, a race that you won by a neck, a tight finish there with target sighted. We're going to roll back the tape on Vanquisher's win in the Kitten's Joy, and I think one thing that was particularly pertinent about this win, Rosemary, was the fact that it was for the Kinsman stable just days after George Steinbrenner passed away.
I know, it did mean a lot. It meant a lot to the Steinbrenner family, and as it would happen, they were having his ceremony at the same exact time as I was winning the race. It was kind of symbolic that it was happening at the same time, and his horse won, and they were, saying their goodbyes to him. When I spoke to Greg Griffith, he had called me that morning, and he said, it is very, very, very important that you win this race today. And I said, no problem.
Wow.
And Vanquisher is a class horse. He's very easy to ride. You have to get him in the race early and get good position. And once you do that, he's pretty much push button from there. And he just has a tremendous amount of ability. And he gave me everything he had down the lane.
2009 Horse of the Year returned to Monmouth for an encore at the Jersey Shore.
As they come to the top of the stretch, they ran 3/4 in 1:12.1. They're into the stretch, and Rachel Alexandra roars into the stretch with a 1.5 length lead. Queen Martha left behind on the inside, but she's run a game race, and Rachel Alexandra is now moving away by 3 over Queen Martha, and it is Rachel Alexandra in an encore at the Jersey Shore.
Well, very pleased with her, how she ran today, how good she acted. Awfully warm day. She kept her composure. She was very relaxed off the other mare. First thing Calvin said when he came back was he loved how she came home today, and I think that'll be the key to her future success.
What about where she is at this point in her career and what the plans are for the future for her and what's on her dance card? What do you think?
Well, it's been discussed a lot, but the filly came into the barn 4 days off a 20-length win in the Oaks to 10 days later the Preakness, and that level of pressure and expectation on her hasn't been met yet this year. But as you can see, filly's carrying good flash. She's doing really well, and I think we'll have a lot of mare going in towards the end of the year. And appreciate Monmouth Park and how well they treat her, and she was glad to be back.
Zenyatta's next start is still up in the air, but one thing's for sure, Mike Smith will be aboard.
John Sheriff saying that her target right now is the Clement Hirsch based on the racetrack there at Del Mar.
She breezes tomorrow, so hopefully we get through that real well, and then I guess they'll kind of watch the track, see how it's playing, and make their decision as far as where they're going to run her.
Every week her workouts make headlines, and last week she made headlines in saying that it was a dramatic workout, that she had a couple of horses to run down. What exactly, can you describe for us what was going on the racetrack that morning?
It really wasn't so dramatic. She just does her normal thing. It just so happens we broke a couple of horses off with her this time, just to keep her interested. I keep getting by the company so easy that as we've all seen, her big old ears go up and she just gets to lope. And so we were looking for a little bit of a longer target, and she got one and worked great.
2 questions, Mike. Does she do her dance in the morning? And when she does do her dance, when you're on her back, what's it feel like?
Yeah, she definitely does it. When she sees me, she knows she's going to get to play a little. So she gets excited, and yeah, she does her dance all the way to the track. And she's a great dance partner, I'll tell you that. She does all the leading. All I do is sit still, and I just let her do her thing.
Well, maybe you guys have a future in Dancing with the Stars sometime down the line.
She should be on it, I tell you that. She wins. She gets the perfect 10s all the way across.
That's all for this week. Here's what you can look forward to, including an all-new episode of Inside Information.
We saddled him up and said, well, let's go up and see what happens.
And the first quarter was drilled in 22-2. It was quick and contentious, and Cigar takes charge.
He continued on, and he just drew away going a mile on the dirt.
It was at the Meadowlands, and Mike came over to me and he said, do you remember that horse Cigar that we were talking about? I said, yeah. He said, I rode him in an allowance race today. I said, oh, how did he do? He said he ran off the TV screen. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, he's a real deal on the dirt. Funny thing is, after that, Mike couldn't ride him. I remembered the conversation, and when my agent came to me, he said, Mott wants us to ride this horse Cigar. I said, ride him.
The race was so impressive. We ran him next time out in the 9 mile.
And they're off. As the field turns for home, and it is Cigar. And Cigar running a monstrous race today to win the Naira Mile. And he did it decisively.